Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take. Time is going to pass anyway, and that single realization has transformed more lives than almost any other idea in human history. Consider for a moment the quiet power hidden inside that truth. If time is going to move forward regardless of what we choose, then every hour that slips through our fingers becomes either a lost opportunity or the building block of something extraordinary. And the difference is simply whether we decide to move with time or hide from it. Most people misunderstand time. They treat it like a thief, sneaking up on them, stealing their youth, stealing their chances. But time is no thief. Time is the most loyal companion you will ever have, because it never leaves your side, it never stops offering you another chance, and it never demands anything except that you choose what to do with it. Imagine that the most precious resource you'll ever receive is constantly replenished, second by second. And yet most people act as though they are running out of it simply because they refuse to use it. Every dream you hold, every ambition that stirs in your heart, every idea that tugs at your thoughts, late at night, all of them require time. Not because dreams are slow, but because growth takes place in layers, in unseen depths, like roots spreading under the soil long before the world ever sees a leaf. But people look at the calendar, at the years they imagine it will take, and they step back. They say it will take too long. And so they abandon the very thing that could have made their life meaningful, interesting, worth waking up for. They think they're saving time by giving up. In reality, they're wasting it. You see, the person who refuses to start because something may take 5 years will eventually face those same 5 years anyway. And at the end of those 5 years, they will have only the regret of knowing they could have been 5 years further along, 5 years wiser, 5 years stronger. If something will take years, then wonderful, because that means the reward will be worth something. A dream that takes 12 months is small. A dream that takes 5 years is life-changing, and the time will pass whether you rise to meet it or not. Think back to the greatest achievements of humankind. None of them happened quickly. The pyramids weren't built in a summer. The great symphonies weren't written in an afternoon. Masterpieces of art, breakthroughs in science, towering businesses, deep and lasting relationships, each of them demanded time. Why? Because time is the instrument that shapes the dreamer into the one capable of achieving the dream. You grow into your goals, and as you grow, your dream grows with you. But most people never discover this because they demand results before they've earned them. They want the harvest without the planting. They want the applause without the effort. And when they realize the journey is longer than they hoped, they retreat. They surrender. They tell themselves a story that it wasn't meant for them. But it was. It always was. They simply couldn't bear the idea of the time. Yet the truth is this: time is your ally. And if you begin to work with it, instead of resisting it, it will carry you further than you ever imagined. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain. It rises so high the top disappears into the clouds. Most people look at it and turn away. They say, it's too tall. It will take too long. But a rare few take the first step. And that step, insignificant as it may seem, separates the dreamers from the spectators. Because a person willing to walk, slowly, steadily, with purpose, will one day look down from that very mountaintop and realize something profound. It wasn't the mountain that was impossible. It was their own fear of time that once held them back. There is something magical that happens the moment you start. Not when you finish, when you start. You send a message to your own mind that says, I am moving. And once movement begins, momentum follows. A single hour of study becomes knowledge. A single day of practice becomes skill. A single week of disciplined effort becomes progress. And progress, even the smallest amount, creates a sense of pride that feeds your desire to continue. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they underestimate the power of small, consistent effort. They believe change requires dramatic leaps. It doesn't. It requires steady, deliberate motion in the direction of your dream. Think of a river carving a canyon. Not through force, but through persistence. There will always be people who question your dreams. Some will ask, why bother? Don't you know how long that will take? But the only honest answer is, of course I do. That's why it's worth doing. Anything that can transform you will require time. Anything that can elevate you will require patience. Anything that can outlast you will require a part of your life invested into it. That is the nature of all great achievements. But here is the profound truth. Time passes more quickly when you are engaged in something meaningful. Years spent drifting feel heavy, but years spent pursuing a dream feel light. There is a vitality, an energy that accompanies the pursuit of something you truly desire. Each day becomes a chapter in the making of a new version of yourself, and eventually you begin to realize that the dream was important. But the person you become along the way is the true reward. Ask yourself, what would happen if you decided that time was no longer the enemy? What would happen if you embraced it as the instrument through which you build your future? What if every sunrise became a reminder that you are being handed another opportunity to inch closer to the life you imagine? You would discover more motivation you never knew you had. You would find consistency where before there was only hesitation, and you would learn to trust the process, because you would see that slow progress is far more powerful than no progress. Time teaches you discipline. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you patience. And these are the qualities that separate those who merely wish from those who achieve. A dream delayed is not a dream denied. It is a dream being refined, strengthened, prepared for the right moment. Consider the people you admire most. None of them achieved greatness overnight. The world only saw the final moment, but not the years of unseen practice, struggle, doubt, and persistence. Behind every success story is a timeline filled with quiet mornings, long nights, and choices made when no one was watching. These moments, invisible to the world, shape the destiny that the world later celebrates. So many lives could transform if people simply accepted that the clock is not counting down, it is counting upward. You are building something, and the longer it takes, the more profound the final result will be. But remember this, the only thing more painful than the effort required. To pursue a dream is the regret of abandoning it. Regret is not born from failure. Regret is born from the refusal to try, and no person escapes the weight of a dream they neglected. It lingers, it whispers, it reminds you of what could have been. Yet the moment you begin, even if you begin slowly, you silence that voice. You replace regret with purpose. And purpose gives meaning to every minute, every hour, every day. So if there is a dream in your heart right now, something you have pushed aside because you believe it will take too long, bring it back. Hold it again. Look at it with new eyes. And realize that the time will pass anyway. The only question is who you will become while it passes. Start today, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient, not when circumstances improve. Today, because the day you start is the day you take control of your future. And once you begin, do not measure your progress by the size of your steps. Measure it by your willingness to continue. Some days you will move quickly, others slowly. But as long as you do not stop, you cannot fail. Persistence is the key that unlocks every door time has closed. The dream you hold is not there by accident. I is a signal, a calling toward the person you are capable of becoming. And time is the tool that will help you become that person. So do not fear the length of the journey, fear standing still, fear looking back one day and realizing that the person you could have been is a stranger you never met. Let time work with you, not against you. Let every hour be an investment in your future. And remember, never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway. Use it, shape it, let it carry you toward the life you imagine. And as you move forward step by step, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to feel time differently. Instead of seeing it as something slipping away, you feel it gathering beneath you, supporting you, lifting you. You begin to understand that the hours you invest in your dream don't disappear, they compound. They accumulate like interest in the bank of your future. And one day, without even realizing it, you wake up stronger, more capable, more confident than you were before. But you'll notice something else too. The moment you commit to your dream, the world around you begins to shift. New opportunities appear. Opportunities that would have remained invisible had you not started moving. People begin to show up in your life, drawn to your determination, your consistency, your quiet belief in something bigger than your present circumstances. These people arrive not by coincidence, but because effort has a strange way of attracting exactly what you need at exactly the moment you need it. This is why time is such a powerful ally. It allows the pieces of your destiny to fall into place. You cannot rush destiny. You cannot sprint to the finish line of a journey that was meant to shape you gradually. If you were handed everything overnight, you would not be prepared to keep it. Growth is required. Experience is required. Wisdom is required. And all of these are forged only through time. Too many people look at someone successful and say, they're lucky. But luck is the residue of design. Fate favors the persistent. The moment you choose to stay the course, long after the initial excitement fades, long after the novelty is worn off, you separate yourself from the vast majority who quit simply because the road became long. There will be days when you question yourself, days when progress is invisible, days when you wonder whether all this effort is leading anywhere at all. But those are the days when something crucial is happening beneath the surface. Your mind is being strengthened. Your habits are solidifying. Your character is being sculpted. The foundation for your dream is being poured, not in the sunlight but in the shadows. And this is where most people falter. They misunderstand the nature of progress. They expect visible results at every turn. But growth is like the seasons. You plant in spring, you cultivate in summer, you harvest in autumn. But winter is when the roots deepen. Winter is when the foundation is built. Winter is when the dream gathers strength in silence. If you walk away during winter, you never reach the harvest. You never experience the reward of the seasons you endured. This is why perseverance matters more than motivation. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls. But perseverance is a decision you make every day, to show up whether you feel like it or not, to keep going even when the path ahead looks uncertain. Think back to every important milestone in your life. Not one of them arrived instantly. You learned to walk through countless falls. You learned to speak through repetition. You mastered skills through effort. And yet somewhere along the way, many people begin to believe that adulthood should come with instant success, as if the laws of growth suddenly stop applying. But the truth is, the same principles that governed your childhood achievements govern your adult ones as well: persistence, patience, and the willingness to struggle forward. Some people spend years searching for motivation, but motivation is not something you find, it's something you create through action. The moment you begin, you generate momentum, and momentum is far more valuable than motivation. Momentum makes the difficult feel possible. Momentum makes discipline feel natural. Momentum turns time from an obstacle into a companion. And let me tell you something essential. There is no such thing as wasted time when you are pursuing growth. Even your failures contribute. Even your missteps educate you. Even your delays strengthen you. Because every attempt, successful or not, moves you closer to clarity, closer to skill, closer to mastery. The real tragedy is not in failing. The real tragedy is in never beginning, because a PE, or son who begins even uncertainly, is alive. They are moving, learning, striving, becoming. But a person who waits for the perfect moment becomes trapped in a perpetual state of preparation, living only in the potential of what could be rather than the reality of what can be built. Time does not demand perfection, it demands direction. If you know where you want to go, even if you cannot yet see the entire road, start walking. The path reveals itself only to those who choose to walk it. But there is something else time reveals, the difference between desire and commitment. Desire says, I want this someday. Commitment says, I will begin today. Desire daydreams. Commitment takes the first step, and dreams respond only to commitment. Think of the people who have transformed the world, not through genius alone, but through relentless persistence. They all had one thing in common. They understood that mastery requires time. They were willing to invest years, sometimes decades, into something most people would have abandoned after a few months. Their advantage wasn't talent, it was patience. People often misinterpret patience as passivity, but patience is the highest form of strength. It is the ability to trust that your actions, repeated consistently over time, will eventually bear fruit. Patience and persistence, working together, can bend reality. There will be moments when you feel behind, when you look at others who seem to be racing ahead of you. But remember, every person is on their own timeline. Life is not a competition. Your journey is not meant to match someone else's pace. What matters is that you remain loyal to your path. What matters is that you continue moving forward, regardless of how long it takes, because something incredible happens when you refuse to quit. Life bends toward your determination. Doors open, ideas emerge, paths form, and time, which so many fear, becomes a force that begins working in your favor.